Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. In this video, I'm going to tell you how I ping the server on another region. So this is an extra video. So if you want to watch to know how to configure peer communication to ping from one virtual machine to another virtual machine, which is on a different region. So open to EC2 console. I'm just middle clicking EC2 console 2 times and then VPC 2 times as well. I'm just splitting the EC2 console to the right side. So I have EC2 console, VPC, and EC2, or else you can make it EC2 and VPC again. So all is on the same region right now, as you can see over here in the highlight over here. It's all in the US East 1. So I'll open this two EC2, one EC2 instance and VPC for the North Virginia, and then I will change this to Mumbai region. So it doesn't have to be Mumbai region. It could be any other region for that matter. So now the sessions which you're going to do over here will actually continue for Mumbai region over here. And this VPC will also reflect Mumbai region. So you need to do two sets of configuration. Firstly, you need to have an instance running and it needs to have an IP address assigned to it. Now, IP address series basically based on the subnet of the VPC you're assigning to. When you're creating any kind of a server, you will be actually creating a server in a specific VPN, VPC, and that VPC will be specified at the time of creating the or launching the instance. Now you have the default VPC over here, which is currently running. This is the default VPC. These are the default subnets. So a number of subnets will be created automatically for each region, and these are the number of your availability zones. So based on the number of availability zones, you will have the number of, you can see that availability zone over here, and you will have the basic number of subnets here. That's the default configuration. The default, there will be no peer connection, so you should not find this also. I've just edited the one which I've used for creation. So there will be internet gateway, there will be routing table. Routing table is how you are able to access the internet because you are using internet gateway over here. Okay, internet gateway is for making sure that the VPC is connected to your local network as well as your internet as well. So this is the IP address series. If you see the subnet, you will have the CIDR information over here. So as you have 6 of them, so you're giving unique, but if you see this first two doesn't change, 172.31, and then for different different availability zone, you are giving 80. It starts from 0 and then 16, 32, and then 48, and then 64 and 80. So this gives quite the number of available IP addresses for you to assign. And do remember that this VPC and this IP address is for your local network, which means your system. So which means using this one, you can assign 491 systems with one IP address each. So that's what this means. So this is the number of instances you can create. An available IP address tells you what is the number of IP address available for each instance. So this is pretty much the default one. We have not done any changes to the default one. Though we have the default one, we will be actually using a customized one. Okay, so we will talk about that. So as we are communicating from your North Virginia to Mumbai region, so firstly, you need to create a EC2 instance. But the problem, if you create a EC2 instance right now, you will get an exception later point of time, because when you're doing peer connection, right, it will not work. So if you see that, when you create a peer connection over here, create a peer connection, and here just give a random name. So US to IND. So this is basically United States to India. And here the VPC is the default VPC. I'm picking it up, which has the CIDR information of 172.31. Do remember that the VPC which gets created by default on all regions will use the same CIDR information. So if we click on the CIDR information over here, you will see that this is manually added. I'll remove what I manually added. So just remove this. So you will have this only one CIDR. So if you see the CIDR 172.31 is matching the CIDR over here. So if I try to create it with the same CIDR information, so I just have to copy this VPC ID over here and select. It should not be. So here you select from, here you select to. So select another VPC to pair with. So here select another region and give Mumbai and give the VPC ID. Now this VPC ID will not work. I'll tell you, I'll show you. Just click on create peer connection. So once you click on that, go back to peer connection again and you will see it's failed. So when you click on this to understand the reason it failed, it will fail due to either VPC ID is incorrect or account ID is incorrect or overlapping CIDR. In our case, it's overlapping CIDR because the one we are trying to connect from and connect to is on the same network. So you can see the 172.31. And here also in the VPC, it is 172.31. So one side, it should be different. Okay. So I'm going to use the default one on this particular Northern Virginia region. And here I'm going to create a new VPC. So just click on create VPC and then VPC, and then the name of it is going to be latency test VPC and IP version 4 manual input, and I've given 172.32.0.0/16. Now if you see the compare this is on 31 and I'm giving 32 over here. So this is going to be an unique IP address and tenancy is default. Do not select dedicated. It will be charging you more. And do remember this before creating VPCs are charged. So if you're going to create more than one VPC, it's going to be charged for you, but not so much. So if you see the VPC over here and the VPC over here, there is something missing. That is your subnet. So if you see that, there are subnets over here attached to routing table and then to your internet gateway. So right now there is a routing table here which is created by default, but there is no subnet over here. There is no internet connection also here. So we need to do some activity here firstly to create subnet. So go to subnet. Now you already have 3 subnets which is already assigned to a VPC here. So you cannot do anything. So one subnet can be assigned to one VPC. You can see that it is assigned to 31 series IP address. So we are using a new VPC itself. So we will be changing this VPC name. Okay, so create a subnet, select the VPC. So you see the latency test VPC. This is the name we have given, right? And it also shows 172.32 over here. So this is what we need. So here give a subnet name. So now first try to understand how the subnet names are configured. So I'm middle clicking on subnet over here and then I'm selecting this, looking at the subnet name, availability zone name. So I have this 1B, 1C, 1A. So I can understand there are 3, right? So it should be 1B, 1A. So first I'll configure one subnet here and then select 1A over here. And then you can see that the CIDR block over here. So it should be the same IP address, 132, sorry, .0.0/16. It should be the same for the first one, but you can add another subnet here itself. It's not needed that you should add all 3 items. You don't have to add 3. You can have only 2 also. That's completely okay. But at least 2 should be there as part of a VPC. So for that to load balance and failover, fault tolerant. Now you cannot actually give this IP address again. So if you're gonna give the same IP address here and here, what's happening is that the CIDR block, so the EC2 instance you are creating, right? For this one as well, for it to select the this particular availability zone also, it will use the same IP address series, which has like some 65,000 IP addresses if you choose this one. But the problem is like this also using the same IP address. So it will become a problem. It will not accept it. So if you click on the create, right, it will say address overlap. So you have to change this. You can use this bar and you can change this to the next available one. That's weird. It normally changes So I can go to 16 over here. I don't know why it's not working for some reason, but you can change it like that. If you see the previous one also, it will say the same thing. So 31.0, 31.16, 31.32. So for each CIDR, you have to give extension of this IP address so that you will have the specific amount of IP address available. Okay. So now I'm just giving 2 of this and changed it to 16. Now click on create subnet. It should actually work. So let's see what is the issue over here. I think I have to give 22, I guess. Let me confirm that. Just a second. Yeah, I have to give 20 over here, not 16. Sorry. 20 over here, 20 over here as well. So that's why it was not changing. So if it is goes to default, I think now it will change. I can see that it is changing from 0 to 16. Sorry about that mistake. So now you see that 4096 IP address available. It's because I've given 16, it didn't work. It is, the range is so huge. You saw that it was coming as 65,000 IP address we can use. So that's why it was not working for me. So now it's fixed. Now click on create subnet and you have 2 subnets created over here. So on a whole, you have 3 subnets for 3 availability zones in Mumbai region and 2 of them. So now that we have completed the subnet creation and assigned it to VPC, now if we go to VPC, select the VPC, you will see resource map. So you have the subnet configured to a route table, but we have not configured the route table properly. But before you go to route table, configure the internet gateway, or else your service which is hosted under this VPC will not reach to the internet. So you can go to internet gateway, create a new internet gateway, and then latency test IGW I'm giving as an internet gateway name. Now in this internet gateway, you need to do a configuration. You have to attach VPC for internet gateway. So select the VPC, latency test VPC, and click on attach. Now if you go to VPC and check the resource mapping, you will see this network configuration. But what you won't see is like the attaching of this route table and the internet gateway. Now if you see this one over here, you see that's attaching over here. So there's a communication. So to get that attached, okay, go to route table. It already has a route table, so you can actually see it from here. It says route table. You can just click on this to open the route table, then you tab. Now you can see that this is a default route table which is assigned to this particular latency test VPC. Now this is the default configuration which comes with every route table. Okay, so this tells you about the 172.32 series. Okay, now click on edit route table, and in this route table you need to specify what you're routing it to. Firstly, click on add. Do not modify the local one, let it be like that. Just click on add route over here and search for the internet facing one. So what you want to attach it with internet. So everything, all the IP address which is in this particular VPC should have internet gateway access. So select internet gateway over here and give the internet gateway which we just created. Now what happens is like this will get tagged. So this route table will know about this internet gateway which we have created. Now when you go to VPC, select the VPC. If you go to resource maps, you will see that there is a connection over here right now. So anything, any kind of servers or EC2 instance you're going to create now will connect to this internet gateway if you have selected this VPC as part of the EC2 instance. Now you will have 2 options in selection towards VPC. So I need to select this VPC if I want to use this, peering connection, because it will use this series of IP address. So if you create, I'll show you that. I'll just quickly show you. So right now I'm on the VPC here. I'm on the EC2 instance here. There's no instance running as one which is terminated. Click on launch instance. And then just do a test one instance. Okay, test one instance will use the default VPC. Default VPC is not what we configured, so you can see the default VPC. Now when I just select this default one over here, so again you will need to create a new key pair here for this particular region. So key pair is completely different, so you need to create another key pair over here, and you need to download that. Remember to choose PPK if you're planning to access the server, but I'm not going to access the server, so I'm just gonna do it as a demo. So now when I create this server, it's the server is in running state, but you see the IP address, it's 172.31. So I cannot do the peering when it has the same IP address range. Okay, it needs to have a different IP address range. So for that, I just have to terminate this instance again. And this time I need to launch instance. Same thing, latency test. And then this time I'm going to click on, I've selected WebLogic as the key pair name. I'm going to edit this network setting and change this to the latency test VPC. So now this time you can see that it is selecting either APA or B. You can select whichever availability zone you want. And then here auto assign IP address, enable it. This will basically means that it will give you a public IP address. Click on launch instance. It's going to create an instance over here. Now this instance is going to be running very soon. So just click on refresh. Now you can see that it's running. Now this instance is running on 172.32.1. So this is what we wanted to have, right? So now that you're running on this IP address, so you can actually copy this IP address, try to ping it from the server from North Virginia, but it wouldn't ping because we have not done one configuration. That is a peering configuration. We have not done peering. So now let's go ahead and do the peering configuration. Now to do the peering configuration, you just have to go to any of the servers, both of them is fine. So I would recommend go to North Virginia VPC. And once you're in the North Virginia VPC, there's a peering connection over here. Just click on peering connection and then select create new peering connection. Select the peering connection name, whatever you choose, and then select this particular VPC. Select another region as a destination. Select Mumbai region or whatever the region you have configured your new VPC. Copy the new VPC ID, which is hosted on 172.32, okay? Because this is using a different IP address series. Now click on create peering. Now go back to peering connection. Now you can see that it says initialize request. So this output is different. Now it has changed to pending acceptance. Now if you just come back to your Mumbai VPC, if you go to peering connections here, so if you just refresh this, you can see that pending connection, and there's a information here. You can accept or reject the pending connection request under the action menu. Your time till Tuesday to do so. So go over here, action, accept request. Now this is going to accept this request, and it's going to create the CIDR communication from 172.31 series to 172.32 series. Accept the request. Now let's see if it's provisions. And you can see that it is active right now. So you have the source requester CIDR and accepted CIDR over here, right? Now, one more thing you need to do before you access it. I don't think it's going to work now also. The one more thing you need to do is set you need to set at the EC2 level of your security group. So security group needs to be updated because currently it only accepts a 22 port number towards all sources, right? So you need to tell it to accept the ICMP ping also, because without the ICMP ping, it cannot ping itself also because it doesn't allow the inbound of ICMP anywhere. ICMP is your ping request. Now click on edit inbound rules and then select ICMP from here, IP version 4, and then you just give all, okay? Then click on save rule, and then this should allow ICMP rules as inbound connection. I think I've replaced SSH. Don't do that. You have to add a new rule, okay, by clicking on adding a new rule. So sorry about that. I think I've replaced it. But doesn't matter for our training, it's completely okay. So you still don't have access to it. Let me confirm if this is the IP address which I'm running is correct or not, because IP address would have changed if you have created another one. So looks like it's the same one. Just give me a second. Okay. The one more thing we need to do is that, so now that you've activated your peering connection, right? Your route table on the peering connection is empty. You see that? So there is no way that the routing happens through VPC. So you need to create a route table, and when you look at this route table, you should be part of the existing route table, which is part of your VPC. So if you go to your VPC, go to resource mapping, you have the route table here, right? Just click on this. It'll open another window. In this window, just like you configure internet gateway, you need to edit route and add a rule. And in this rule, you cannot actually repeat the same IP, same instance over here. It won't allow you to repeat the same instance. Uh, if you just try that, right, and then give peering connection over here, this is the peering connection. So it is telling you which connections to peer, and you actually get the suggestion over here. This is the one which is currently being used. So select that peering connection and save the changes. Now it was saying that it is already existing, so that's what I said, that you cannot actually use the same IP address series. So you can give 0.0.0.16 as well. So just click on save, and you can actually see that. So you can give alternatively this one instead of this. You can also give the remote address as well. So you can give 172.31.0.0/16. But if you give 0.0.0.16 is also the same. It means everything on that series on that particular side. So this is also you can give, and click on save. Now if you go back to peering connection and select this peering connection, go to route table, you will see the route information over here. So this pretty much tells you that the route table is created. Okay. So now let's go ahead and see if it pings. Okay, just give me a second. So the last thing we are supposed to do to get that working is, as we have completed the route table addition in the destination server, which is Mumbai, now you need to do the same route table addition for your, the PCX addition, as in like peer connection addition on your source server as well. So here we have given the source server information, which is your source CIDR information, and the PCX on the source server. Now you have to give the same thing over here on this routing table. Now go to VPC. We are using the default VPC. Go to resource map, and you will get the shortcut over here for your route table. So if you go in this method, you won't be wrong, because sometimes there'll be huge routing tables. You don't know which one it is. So if you figure out the VPC and you see the map, and you will actually get to the actual routing table, the correct one. And then within the routing table, you are having this routes over here. Edit this route, and then add a rule, and then give the IP address of the other end. So it's 32, right? 32.0.0./16. So if you look at this, take an example over here. So here you have inserted the peer connection with 31. That is your source server. Now here you have to give the destination server over here, and give peer connection again, and use the peer connection ID. Okay. So you can also see that it is saying USIND. So this is the peer connection ID on the remote end. So that is something which you're picking up, and then saving the changes. Now, after saving the changes, you can just go ahead and try to ping the IP address, and you will see a response from the server. So which means that you are getting a response from this particular server instance. So this is how you have to use cross-region peering connections, so that you can reach out to a server on a remote host. Now you can do SSH also to the remote host. You just have to enable it on the service security group. Sorry. So once you're in the security group, edit security group, add rule, SSH, and then you can mention that 172.172.31 0.0.0/16. So the 31 series, anyone can do SSH. Now, if you just save the rule over here, now SSH is allowed from 31. So I will do SSH. I don't have the key though, so I'll not be able to log in, but you can see that it is accepting the connection for me. I don't have the key, so I'll not be able to log in. But if I have the key, right, I can put the key over here and I can log in easily because I have opened the SSS connection over here to this IP address series because I am browsing it from North Virginia region to the server which is hosted on Mumbai region. Once the peer is connected and when you have added the route to the peer, um, actually when you have added the peer to the route, it's going to be very easy for you to configure a security group. Now also you can also create one security group for this purpose, and then every time you create a EC2 mission, you use that security group rather than the default one which gets created every time you create a EC2, because every time you launch a EC2 instance, you are going to get a new security groups. Like you have so many security groups because you every time you launch a EC2 instance, it basically creates a new one. So to avoid that, you can create a default one and you can call it as a default. And every time you create a EC2 instance, you can select that particular security group. Okay, so this is just a video to showcase that how it's able to communicate via another VPC. Now do remember the VPC are charged based on the number of VPC. So one VPC is going to be free. So if you're going to have multiple VPC, then it's going to be a problem. So firstly, remove the peering connection by action, delete peering connection, delete route table as well. So select that option. So this will delete down route table on both the ends, and then you can see it's deleting. And once you have done that, go ahead and delete the VPC. See if it allows you. No, it still needs the I think there is a resource needs to be terminated. So that's our EC2 instance. So just going to shut down our EC2 instance over here. So this is gonna save some money for us. So the sooner you get it done, sooner you take it off, right? It's not going to be charged because it could be 1 hour time at any point of time. So it's better to take it off. So just remove the subnets. These are the extra subnet I've created with the name. Delete. So subnets is deleted. Now I think I can try deleting VPC now. It may take a little bit of time. And then let's remove the route table as well. Delete route table, but it's not going. Okay, it says the main route table. It may take a little bit of time for this particular subnets to get deleted. Delete. Okay, it's deleted. Let's try to take it down. Okay, now it's going down once you delete the subnet. So VPC is deleted now, and you should be good with the route tables as well. So this will also get removed, and your peering connection is also deleted. So this will charge you from getting charged or getting extra bit of a payment. So here the peering connection, if you delete in Mumbai region, it will delete here also. So there's no need for you to delete separately. In terms of route, it will remove the route as well. So subnet, we have not created any. VPC, we have not created any. So that should undo all the work we have done so far, and it will stop you from getting charged and then the next day morning. So thank you again for watching this video. If you have any questions, leave it on the question section. And I really appreciate your feedback, because by your feedback is how I'm gonna make sure that I improve my work and I improve my training based on that. Thank you again. I'll see you on the next video.